Welcome to Season 2 of Linking to the Afterlife. This season will continue with our soul existence readings and connecting with your loved ones in spirit. We will also be adding a few organic chats with friends and episodes explaining more about communicating with the afterlife. If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, see the show notes. Thanks for listening. Hey, Amanda, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for allowing this to happen and for my listeners to listen. We are reading a loved one today. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we're going to both close our eyes and we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth together, letting go of everything we brought before this moment. State out loud, I am open to receive.
I am open to receive.
Great. You can open your eyes now. For me, state your first name and the phrase, it's a beautiful day.
My name is Amanda, and it's a beautiful day.
Now, would you state the first name of your loved one?
Natalie.
Natalie was a very jolly person. Jolly is the word that's coming to my head. I don't know why I would say that, except for if it was the season for being jolly. Would you agree with that, Amanda?
Yes, absolutely.
Yay, jolly. She doesn't appear elderly to me. We'll say over the age of 80, 85. Would that be correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you. I feel she had a lot to say in this life when she was human, and she also has a lot to say in her soul existence. Would that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
I love that, Natalie. Thank you. We're open to listen to anything, right, Amanda?
Yes.
Did Natalie either do some sort of writing, some sort of drawing, something to do with names? Why am I seeing her writing her name maybe a lot? Look at bigger picture here. Anything like that making sense to you?
I have a letter she wrote me right beside me.
All right, stop right there. Stop right there. Okay, I'll go with that. So she's bringing that up. And did she sign her name to it? Is her name at the bottom of it? Something about her name, and it could just mean what you already said, but I feel I'm still getting it in my head. So there's something I might be missing.
Yes, she's written her name.
Good. Okay, so first thing she brings up, how is that?
That's great. I'm very happy. Yeah.
She wrote it. She wrote it. She told me she wrote it. She said, I told you I had a lot to say. So much so that I had to write it down. Thank you, Natalie. Was Natalie alone in her life, meaning either single or she lost people and that made her alone? Anything like that?
No.
I feel she's alone. Would you say that in her own thoughts, maybe then she was alone? She wasn't able to speak what she wanted to speak to the people around her? Because I just said she had a lot to say, but now she's showing me she really maybe had something stopping her from saying things. Am I making sense?
Yes, yes.
So you agree with all of that?
Yes, I can see maybe the sense of feeling alone in regards to one aspect of her life,
Okay.
but not in regards to being single. Yes.
Okay, I'll go with that. I'll go with that. May have been something she ignored, maybe a physical symptom that she might have ignored. Is that making a little sense? Give me a yes or no on that.
Yes.
And I'm feeling emotional right now. I feel like I pegged it, like I hit the nail on the head. And now she took a turn to say, all right, I admit it. Do you understand what I'm saying and feeling, Amanda?
Yes.
And then she's like, you know what? Tough. My life is for me. My life was for me. And I understand it now. I didn't understand it then because then, meaning in the human world, in her human existence, she felt judged. She felt like people were telling her things that she didn't want to hear. And then they got mad or they judged her because she didn't want to do anything about it. Am I making sense, Amanda, about Natalie?
Maybe, yeah.
I'll go with maybe, and I'll just read that a little bit further. She's giving me a couple things at once here, and I got to push her back to what we just said because I don't want to go forward. But she's like, da 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 da. I'm like, slow down. We want to get everything. I feel that as much as she said, talked, maybe listening wasn't her greatest asset. Listening about the important things. Like, again, I'm going to go back to people were telling her things like, maybe you should do this, maybe you shouldn't do that. And she didn't listen.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so now I'm getting the yes. I just reinterpreted what I heard a few minutes ago, but now I'm getting a yes. Okay, so I just made that clear. I'm going to go with that. And she's honoring that. And that's why she said tough. You think it was tough on you? Imagine how tough it was for me, Amanda. Can you imagine how tough it was for her?
Maybe.
So we got to look at the inner workings of her, which are things that, she wouldn't have said out loud, because now we're getting pieces of her soul that are admitting to how she felt inside, how she didn't speak up, and how she was frustrated at people telling her things, and how she also understands the frustration of everyone else. Remember when I said at the beginning, these are all about you. These messages, these readings are all about my sitter and not the soul we're reading. So she's giving you an insight to what was going on with her, she says, so that going forward, other humans will be conscious of this in their own lives. Talk to me about that.
I can certainly see where you're coming from. She had a pretty difficult life, didn't exactly express that to me, but I could see it. So this must be what she was feeling inside that she didn't share with me.
Yes. And all the while being judged by other people, whether it was out loud or not, the soul feels that. The soul feels that as the human. The soul's saying, oh, cool, this is a great lesson. But if the human doesn't respond and doesn't talk about it and doesn't process and doesn't do all the other good things, that's a challenge. That's the challenge. The challenge isn't talking about it. The challenge is not talking about it. That was a good message. You understand what she's saying?
Yes.
She's asking me, and I'm not sure if she's asking me or if this is what she was asking when she was in the physical world. This big statement is lighting up. Why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here? I don't think it's the soul world. I think it's the physical world. That was her question inside. Does that make sense?
Yes.
She has not been gone that long. Would that be correct?
Correct, yes.
How long?
Almost a year.
Yeah, I was going to say, it has got to be under 5 years.
Absolutely, yes.
So I feel she's still hanging around. Talked about this a few times, but in those 1, 2, 3 levels of soul existence, there's nothing good, bad, right, or wrong about that. But that's what happens when they're still, as a soul, figuring out why I was there, why I'm here, and what the two have to do with each other. Do you understand?
Yes.
Like why I chose humanness, what I didn't figure out as a human before I can expand myself here in the non-physical world. But I feel she understands dimensionally there are more places to go in the world of spirit. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But she also wants to do this work right now, and very thankful that you said her name, she's saying, because this helps her speak one-to-one with the physical world. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
But you see how it's all playing itself out, not just for you, but for her also.
Yes.
Being that this podcast will be out there, other people will say, I wonder if that person is feeling that. Maybe I should just say something, because again, it's harder to not talk about it than it is to talk about it. Let's just everybody talk about it, and let's get to where we need to be as humans in this existence. Because the soul already knows, the soul already gets it. And the soul's like, come on, you got this, to the human. Come on, we can do this together. Just speak to me. And maybe, Amanda, what they're saying through me right now is to speak not just to other people, but to your own soul, to speak to yourself, not just sit there as human and say there's nobody to talk to when there are people and there is your soul to talk to. You're never alone because your soul is right there with you. That makes sense to you. Yes, Amanda?
Yes.
Natalie's saying, I'm so thankful to you. She's just saying again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know what for what, but do you understand that, Amanda?
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes I don't feel like I have to explain certain things that I say. It seems that you understand it. Good?
Yes.
She says, there was so much, there is so much. You see, because she's a young soul in the world of spirit right now, really, she's kind of in that human soulness, kind of figuring out. There are things that she's saying that I'm not so sure is past, present, or future. And because I'm getting emotional again right now, I'm going to say it's because of her time in this physical world. There was so much that she couldn't do. Do you understand?
Yes.
And she's realizing now there was so much I can do, but I didn't. Do you understand that, Amanda?
Yes.
Is there an R name somewhere around her?
Yes.
And is that person in the physical or the non-physical world?
Physical.
So is there a reason she would be bringing that person up? Yes or no?
Yes.
And is there a reason she's more emotional around this person?
Yes.
I feel I'm doing something with the cord of my headphones right now. I'm wrapping it tightly around my finger. I feel like something about, I'll say relationship, whatever that relationship was between these two, something was just very tightly wrapped. Something was just maybe holding too tightly, or she was stuck in holding too tightly. Is any of that making sense?
Yes.
So you see, when I said at the beginning, everything I do means something, and I'm stuck with this cord now wrapped around my finger that I want it to loosen, but I thought at times, ooh, that's not safe. Let's tighten it back up again. Would that make sense?
Yes.
I feel that's the emotional piece she's still looking at right now as this kind of half and half piece of her that's kind of looking at her life and realizing, gosh, I don't have to feel that anymore. But, at this stage, the emotions in me are the emotions in her. So she's still kind of hanging on. So I'm saying to her, as I talk to you, Amanda, I'm saying to Natalie, it's all fine. At some point, it's all okay what you're doing. There's always a reason for what you're going through right now. And it's okay just to be in it. Just know that we're always here. We're always cheering you on to say, listen to that piece of your soul that's there now with you, stating, I can help you too. It's very challenging to be a human. You think? There's more coming after that, but that could have stopped right there. Yes, I understand that. To be a human and not understand the soulness aspect of who you truly are, because you really are alone. But that soul, and I'm saying this because that's the way I felt with her in the physical world, the soul is just sitting there so close. That's what the goosebumps are, so close, but doesn't feel the same emotion, just feels love. And it was very difficult for Natalie to understand that, not only about herself, like, I could love myself. There's love in here. It was a big question for her. Can you explain that?
Yes. Yeah. I can see that.
And talk to me. I'm going to ask her if it's okay if we talk about this R person. Are you comfortable talking about the R person, or can we leave that? Do you want to
Yes,
leave that?
it's fine. If there's something that she needs to say, absolutely.
I feel it's not about that. It's not about the
Okay.
person, but it's
Yeah.
just about how she felt. Like, she's bringing it up. This is how I felt. This is what I couldn't do. This is what I tried to do. Again, asking that question constantly of herself. Why am I here? There's so much I can. There's so much I can't. Questioning like that is tough on the human existence.
Absolutely.
In that realm, there's no acceptance. There's only questioning. That's a good one. In your opinion, I guess I have to say that now, in your opinion, would you say that she questioned more than she accepted, and that was a detriment to her emotional health?
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Sorry, it's not easy for me to articulate without telling you what happened.
I think we're at that point where you can, because I wouldn't ask you
Okay.
to, I wouldn't ask you to elaborate unless I'm thinking we've said what she wanted to say. I understand what you're saying. And remember what she doesn't feel, what she didn't feel in the physicalness is what she wants to express now for everybody.
Mhm.
Because we're not just helping you now, Amanda, we're helping everybody that's listening.
Yes. So there were quite a few things that have happened to her in her life. And for being such a good-hearted person who would give anybody the shirt off her back, you even those around her would wonder, how does this stuff happen to such a good person like you? Right? So maybe that's what I'm thinking. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And those are the biggest lessons, aren't they?
Yes.
But it also allows me to say to her, okay, here's another scenario you might want to look at, that your soul chose that, even though all of those things would happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we come here. We come here to expand this wonderful vibration of earth, our own earth that we put ourselves in, at the same time helping others.
Yes.
But all your questioning, everybody else's questioning about her was really nothing to do with her. It was her soul and her humanness figuring life out. And you see how, again, all of you guys saying that around her,
Mm-hmm.
if I can be truly honest, and I know you're okay with that, yes.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
When we question other people's purpose here, what do you think that does for their existence here? Instead of saying, wow, it's really great that your soul chose this. You're doing such a good job at your soulness here. I know it's hard, but that's what life is. There isn't a good or bad. Doesn't mean it's not hard. It's just not good or bad. For us around her to say, she's such a good person. Why are all these bad things happening? Tell me what you feel now is not expansive about that statement.
Are you referring to maybe offering encouragement instead of pity? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of us didn't do.
I feel it's bringing up so much in me. I remember when a job that I was working at, I really needed the money. And I got there one day and it was closed and no one told me. So I'm banging on the door and the boss, the owner, comes out and he's like, nobody told you? That's exactly what's wrong with this business. I'm like, okay. What happened? It's a business that's been established for 30 years. What the heck happened? And he said, that's it. We're closing. I'm done with my partner. I'm done. We're closing. And I said, well, I'm sorry, or congratulations, because we don't know that person's soul and what they chose to do. So I gave that person the ability to say to themselves as a human, wait a minute, maybe this is just what I needed, instead of seeing it as I'll put it in quotes, bad thing.
Hmm.
So without good, bad, right, or wrong, those are labels.
You're right.
Yep. I like to say, geez, sorry you have to go through this, but you got this. Of anything in our lives, I say it about myself. If something's happening to me, I'm like, shoo, I'm sorry, but I guess I needed this. Like last week, my not so old car broke down. The week prior, I was in New York City, had the car all the time in New York City. The day before, I drove 10 hours in my car, New York City,
Wow.
Jersey, back to New York, and back up here to Connecticut. The next morning, jump in the car to go pick up my brother. I'm not 2 miles from the house, and my car breaks down.
Oh my goodness.
So what was I was shaky already because it was an emotional day for another reason, but I just parked it, called my brother, said, come pick me up. He got me on the line with his mechanic. And that whole day I was just like, I'm not responding I'm not reacting like I normally do. Oh my gosh, I have no money. How is this going to happen? What am I going to do? It's a brand new car. How could something be wrong? None of my humanness went there.
Hmm.
None of me. So what was my message? Look, Donna, Look how much you've grown. Look how much you've expanded, not to let this irk you or send you down. Good, bad, right, or wrong, sometimes stuff has to happen.
You're right.
But I'm not going to discount my soul's purpose here. As I like buddy up to her, she's like got her shoulder right against my shoulder, Natalie, and she's just, Donna. There's so much gratefulness coming from her now. This has helped her tremendously, that she's more understanding now of herself as a human.
That makes me happy.
I don't feel any physical pain in her body. I feel whatever took her fast. If everybody thought she was in pain, she was not. She was gone. It was a very peaceful time for her to just say, this is it. I accept this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
I'm just going to look at her a little bit. I feel that every part of her humanness that she showed me just shifted. Shoulders dropped, breath let go. I stopped twirling the cord around my finger. She just felt a release. Can you feel that too, Amanda?
Maybe. It comforts me knowing that's how she feels.
That's her soul.
Yeah.
That's her soul. That's where we want her to be.
Yeah.
So when you say maybe, are you speaking about her humanness or her soulness? Because now we're going back to,
I was referring to myself if I also felt the same relief, but I definitely know it's her soul. Yes.
And can you feel more acceptance now instead of
Yes.
holding, instead of questioning?
Yes.
Because you understand how that's all about you and not her.
Yes, absolutely.
We're the ones that are in human state still.
Yeah.
And what can we learn? She just taught us some big ones.
Yes. She's
Breathe.
always been very wise.
Her humanness. Some part of her was attached to that soulness.
Yes.
But I don't know if she knew that about herself. I think she questioned that about herself.
I think so too.
It's easy to judge ourselves. We can judge ourselves so loudly and not hear it. We don't hear it because other people around us are judging us louder.
That is true.
And I feel that she was taking on a lot of stuff around her, thinking it was helping, thinking it was for her. And she was missing out on some things. But she's like, again, going back to Donna, that was my life. That was me. That was all for me. Take a deep breath. Do you feel in your life? I feel like I'm going off on a tangent here.
That's okay.
There's something that's still tying you, holding you?
Yeah.
And when you're tied like that, when you're held like that, that's closer to your soul. Can you view it as being closer to your soul now? To say, okay, here I am in this tight squeeze, and your soul is like, ooh, I love being this close to you.
I certainly can now.
I love that. I love that in our most challenging times. I'm not going to say good, bad, right, or wrong, because challenge is challenge. In our most challenging times, our soul is our biggest cheerleader, because the soul knew all this coming in. And in your challenging time is when you can either, like I did with my car, recognize, you go, Donna. Not worrying this whole week. You haven't even heard from the mechanic yet. You're like, what the hell? I don't care. I don't care. Because it's such a human thing. I had other things to think about. I've got my soul banging at my door. I've got spirit saying, Donna, has nothing to do with my car, does it? Amanda, what would you like to elaborate on? No.
I just want to say your reference about your car. That's funny because I work in the automotive industry. I do have so many questions that I know I will have to discover the answers myself, that nobody is going to give me an answer. I will find the answers myself. and my soul will help me do that. Yeah, it's been quite the journey, the ups and the downs. And she was my go-to person in her human form. And it's really tough when you lose that person, right? I do talk to her, and I do believe she gives me signs to show me that she is listening. And sometimes I try and think about when I'm asking her something, talking to her, I try and think about what would she say to me right now, right? And try and find comfort in that. Yeah, she's there's a big part of me missing. I'm sure that part will be discovered again later on in the spirit world.
A piece of you is not missing.
Really?
She's missing.
Yeah.
A piece of you is not missing. The questioning is future. Acceptance is now. And remember, I said at the beginning, these readings are about my sitter more than they are about the soul. So just what if all of this happens? All of this was planned. There are no mistakes. There is only the now. And if your two souls were up in the in-between world, I love this image. This was shown to me a bit ago. And like there's this big crowd, everybody's hanging around. It's like, I'm going to go back. And they're like, are you sure you're going to go back? Everybody kind of chats about it. And they say, yeah, but when I go back, I want to learn what it's like. I want to learn what loss means. And this other soul says, oh, I'll do that for you because I need to learn this. This goes back to that story I told about my job.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at everything as our message right here, right now, and not say, I'll just wait until I cross. I guess I'll find it then. No, you won't. You'll find it now. You'll find the answers now, because in the now, there are no questions. There's only acceptance of the now. Don't wait. She doesn't want you to wait. She'll still be here. She guides you. She can't make you do anything, though, right? She can't make you do anything. Humanness. I know it's sad, and I'm so sorry for your loss. It's hard. It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's hard. Grief is hard. There's so many levels, right? There's so many ways to express it. So many levels.
Oh, yes.
Let's learn from each level then. Let's just express it. And in whatever way we can, that's healthy for us. And know that your loved one is there, is soul now. Speak to them as soul. Okay. Hey, Natalie, you got this already going on. I know you see more of this than I do. Can you just hang out with me while I go through this?
No.
You see?
That's fine. Yeah.
Do you think the questioning that you have can now slowly become allowing?
Oh, I need to work on that for sure.
Amanda, so do I. Every day I work on it. And you know what's the best thing about allowing instead of questioning? Is that morning when you wake up and you're used to going over, crap, didn't happen yesterday. Is it going to happen today? My question won't be answered. When you wake up in the morning and just say, all right, regardless, I'm going to just go forward today. And then all of a sudden, everything starts to happen because the real message is in the acceptance of what it is and not the questioning of what isn't. Oh, that was good. And sometimes just saying those phrases, every time you start, so your head goes somewhere else, the acceptance of what is instead of the questioning of what isn't. What do you think about that?
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm. You felt that one down to my toes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Natalie, for your wisdom. What was her letter to you?
It was for a housewarming gift.
Oh.
Because she didn't know if she would be around when I received the keys to my condo because I purchased it pre-construction. So she wanted to make sure that I had it, in case things didn't work out. And she mentioned, a lot of stuff in the letter. It wasn't just about buying a house. So, and she put a little picture of the two of us from when I was really little in with the letter. Yeah, so.
And that was the first thing she said. That was the first thing she confirmed for you.
Yeah.
She's right there. Of course she's watching. Of course she's there. But she can't answer your questions.
No, I know.
She got
Yeah.
enough going on her end of the deal.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I want to allow her that. So whenever your questioning gets to be too much,
Yeah.
you can connect with her and say, I would like my soul to expand right now and not be in this questioning mode of what I don't have any longer or what isn't coming fast enough, anything that we could imagine why we question. The whole question and answer thing, such duality, right? Such old paradigm. Because in the now, there isn't any of that. There's nothing of that. There just is.
I feel if I could, yeah, if I learned to accept more instead of question, I would probably be a lot more peaceful. I'm definitely going to take that away from this. Yeah.
Yeah. Contentment is a good word.
Yes.
Contentment with what is puts us at peace.
Yeah.
We can't force peacefulness
No.
if we haven't figured out why we need to be peaceful.
This is true.
I feel like this reading wasn't just about your loved one, but also a soul story.
Yeah. Because of this, I have felt so lost that I think I got a lot out of this, not just hearing from Natalie, but also stuff to take away to work on myself. Yeah.
That's a beautiful statement that you accepted what was said here today and what came out from spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Because spirit wants to tell you what you need.
Yeah.
Spirit wants to give you what you need. And you've got this, you had this wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
And you took on the challenge of accepting it. You did it. Thank you for receiving.
Thank you.
Let's close our eyes again. Take a deep breath in and out. Thank you to Natalie.
Thank you.
For showing us how to accept all that is and not question everything that isn't. Namaste.
Thank you, Donna. This was wonderful.